People are always talking, but what happens when the talk isn't cheap and it is what it is? Well, what I mean by this is,
hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a thoughts about Atlanta video. So before we start, I do want to pour me a glass of wine because this is going to be a long video. I really want to tell y'all some details about what's going on in Atlanta, what's going on in my life, because I don't want my life to seem so glamorized on Instagram. And I have a lot of girls who DM me about moving to Atlanta and moving out of my hometown in general. And I just want to tell y'all what I personally go through because, again, I don't want my life to seem glamorized just because I may have a lot of followers on Instagram or my platform is growing at a rapid pace. And I just want to be more realistic about a life as an influencer, as a young Black woman in Atlanta. So first I'll give y'all a backstory how I ended up here, what made me want to move to Atlanta, and yada yada yada, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's get into it. So let's start about why I wanted to move to Atlanta. So right after college, I got my degree in criminology, and at the time I did want to become a lawyer, mainly because everybody else was telling me how good of a lawyer I would be. I'm very, intelligent, and I can speak up for myself, and I know how to hold conversations. So everybody just seen that for myself, like family-wise. And then I have a best friend who also wants to be a lawyer. So we both had the goal of becoming a lawyer, right? So on this time I was getting my degree, I reached a certain level of awareness, self-awareness at 22. That's why I got my degree. And me and my mom did not get along. So a lot of times I was looking for an escape plan to get out of Charleston, South Carolina. Now, the funny thing about living in South Carolina is when I moved down here and I would tell people where I was from, they did not know where South Carolina was. Every time I refer to South Carolina or where I'm from, everybody's like, North Carolina. And it's kind of sad in a sense because this is where our ancestors were enslaved at. It has a lot of historical events that happen in Charleston. But again, you can't be surprised because of the simple fact that every time people in our hometown try to put us on the map, trying to come up in a certain industry, whether it's entertainment, rap, music, anything, our city kills. Like, Black people kill each other, so we can't make it to the top. And that's why Charleston, South Carolina is not put on the map. And that's another reason why I wanted to move. Because of the simple fact that I had all these dreams and aspirations that doesn't make sense to the average person. So when I'm speaking to my mom or I'm talking to my dad, they're looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, girl, you're supposed to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life until you retire. You're supposed to get the benefits from it. You're supposed to sign up for 401k and become an average human being. This is how they were programmed. So, of course, they're going to pass it down to their children. I have a lot of girls DMing me telling me how they're ready to leave Charleston. A lot of the times people see others move to another city and they think it's very glamorized because they see them elevating very quickly versus when it was home. But y'all don't see the tears, the drama, the commitment, the dedication that comes with moving to a new city. Like, when I moved to Atlanta, I did not have a plan. I don't want to fool anybody. So I want to tell y'all the reason why I decided to move here. I wanted to move to Atlanta simply because my dreams and aspirations that I had set in place, I won't talk about them on this video because I do believe in speaking things up before they are accomplished. And I would tell my parents about it, and nothing against my parents, but they would look at me crazy because it was just not an average person's dream. Like, everybody wants to be a nurse, a doctor. Everybody wants to go to law school, get their PhD, and live a 9 to 5, work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their life, retire, get 401k, trickle down the same thing to their children. But a lot of times parents don't teach their kids entrepreneurship or multiple streams of income. So when I used to talk about it to my dad, he used to look at me crazy, like women are not supposed to have multiple streams of income. You know what I'm saying? Or I remember at 17, I was working 2 jobs. And I was happy because genuinely I loved making money and I loved doing what I wanted to do without waiting for $20 every week to go to the mall. Like, I had my own money. So I was very independent since the age of 16, right? So I had my first job at 16. 17, I worked for a hair store. I was working for that hair store up until the age of 20. And all throughout college, all throughout high school, I actually built that relationship with a Korean lady in Charleston who owned a hair store, and she trusted me, y'all. She used to send me to the bank. She used to have me watch her daughter. Like, I was a part of the family. She was showing me entrepreneurship at a very young age. So I remember graduating college. I did get my degree in criminology, and at first I did want to be a lawyer. So at first the plan was to become a lawyer, and at the time, y'all, I didn't know what I wanted to degree in college. I didn't even know what college I wanted to go to. I picked the college that I ended up going to because it was senior year. It was graduation time. People were submitting applications for colleges, and I was very last minute because I was just like very in the moment then, not really aware of the things that was happening around me in high school. So I just picked a last minute college that one of my childhood friends at the time was going to. So I was like, you know what? She was like, you know, it's kind of easy to get in. You might as well go. It's not that far away from Charleston. You can go home whenever you want to. So I was like, okay, I'll go there. And I visited. It was a small community. It was cool. So I got my degree. And after I got my degree, I was very, very depressed, y'all. Like, I promise you, that month after getting my degree, I used to cry to my dad about how I hate living in my hometown. It's very depressing. Me and my mom is not getting along. I knew she was going to try to micromanage my life and tell me what she wanted me to do. And every time I told her my aspirations or dreams, she would scrunch up her face, not very supportive. At the time, y'all, I know my friends remember, but I started doing lashes. I started learning to do lashes because, like I said, I wanted to have multiple streams of income. And I knew if you stick to lashing, you will create a 6-figure business. I knew that. I did all the research. I have all the research of how to get money without working for somebody. You know, so I started doing lashes in the attic / basement / office. And, you know, my mom would come in and just be very, like, not impressed, because I feel like she knew I could do much more than lashing, but it was just the lack of support that used to get to me. So I ended up breaking down to my dad and telling him I gotta leave Charleston. Like, I'm depressed. I'm not happy. You know, I'm grateful for everything that y'all have done for me, because y'all, I lived a good life. Like, don't get it confused. I had both of my parents, but they provided for me and they gave me all the necessary wants and desires that, you know, I wanted. So I had a good life. I had that structure. I had a good relationship with my mom's side. I had a good relationship with my dad's side. My dad's side of the family actually lives in Atlanta, so I was more close. Naturally, you're more close to your mother's side, like your mother's grandmother. That's who you kind of confine in and you have that close bondage with. That's how it was for me. And so I had that relationship and bondage with my cousins on her side. So my dad's side, people live in Atlanta. And I was just telling my dad, like, Dad, I could do lashing in Atlanta. Like, I could make a lot of money. There's a lot of entrepreneurship there. There's a lot of Black people, you know, making a way for themselves there. And so I was like, what do you think if I live with my Uncle Johnny? So I ended up calling my Uncle Johnny, making some BS plans so him and his wife can allow me to stay there. And they did. I went to Atlanta broke with no plan. Lashing did not work out. I did not have a passion for it. So I was like, you know what? This is not for me. And at the time, I was dating someone, y'all. So let me mention that as well. I was still dating the guy that I was in a relationship with in college. So I would just vent to him a lot about what I was going through mentally. And I took my degree. Well, before I get to that part, he would just pour into me and tell me he was from Atlanta. So he was born and raised here. And he would just tell me how much I could thrive in a place where there's entrepreneurships, models, actors, people with multiple streams of income that look like us and that's going to put us on. He would tell me like his experience, networking, and pushing me basically to like make a decision like, and then something happened where I was kind of forced to make a decision whether I was going to choose my sanity or staying at home. So I decided to choose my sanity. And at the time, I was in I would say the relationship was still kind of healthy. So I was like, okay, well, my boyfriend lives in Atlanta, check. I got my degree. I can find a job, check. I know kind of how to do lashing. I got my certificate in Charleston while I was there. So, if all odds fail, I can start doing lashing. So I moved to Atlanta. My dad takes me. My mom is at complete disapproval. I don't know if she just didn't want me to go because she wanted to continue to control what I had going on, or she thought it was too soon. I don't know what my mom thought. So, y'all, I moved to Atlanta. Let's fast forward. When I first moved out here, I did not have a plan. But I moved because I knew I could bet on myself. I was a hustler. I wasn't, lazy. I had very good work ethics. I did not mind working. Even though I had two parents, everything was not given to me. And I say I come from a silver spoon only because my parents did their job. But as far as materialistic things, I didn't wear brand clothing. I didn't have the latest shoes. I was still wearing Adidas in high school. But they gave me everything a child would need. All that materialistic stuff didn't really matter. I could get that for myself, right? So I had everything I needed. All the tools were instilled in me. Before leaving, I did feel very fearful. But I just want to fast forward to my experience living here. Okay? And I'm going to sit up for this because before I moved, okay, I did my research for dancing. I did my research on Atlanta. And I watch YouTube videos just like this one of women saying that they're done with Atlanta, black women that look just like me. They would say their pros and cons about it, how they feel about it. And a lot of women end up moving out of Atlanta. If you're not from here, raised here, it's kind of like a different perspective. And I mean, some people that I met who have grew up here have the same perspective. So the first topic we're going to talk about is the dating community. Okay, so me and my boyfriend end up breaking up for whatever reason. And I'm like, cool. So with me, it always takes me I'm being realistic. It takes me a while. I'm not gonna put a number on the months, but it takes me a while to move on not because of healing, because I don't ever want to be played how I used to get played. So if I got played the last relationship, I'm gonna study strategically on what happened, what occurred, so none of that stuff happened again. I don't play. So that's what I was doing, but I was really focusing on my paper. So at the time, like I told y'all, I moved in with my Uncle Johnny and his wife. And it was life-changing to me because his wife actually was pouring a lot of knowledge into me. And she was helping me through my breakup. And she was helping me find ways to get money. I started working in a salon. I started working in a restaurant before I actually got my job within my degree. Because when I moved, it was September of 2022, which is in the middle of the year. August is really when people start hiring. August, January, the beginning of the year and the beginning of the school year is when jobs usually are hiring. So at that time, there wasn't a lot of jobs. I had to pick up a 9-to-5 that I could, and I started waitressing. But the dating community, boom. The dating community in Atlanta is a joke. If you're a black, straight woman, it's a joke, okay? Don't let social media fool you. The community is for gay men. If you are a gay man, you're going to have a ball here. Okay, this community is for you because there's so many gay people, and I'm not against gays. I have a lot of gay friends. It's just better dating out here. You can be yourself. You can wear whatever you want to wear. People are not going to judge you who you date. And it's a lot of DL men too who don't tell you that they're gay. But the gay men are happy here. This is home for them. They have a ball in Atlanta, and I love that for them. But I hate that for my black queens that look like me. You know what I'm saying? So dating out here, especially with social media, everything makes it hard. Well, I wouldn't say everything, but dating makes it hard because of social media. And I'll tell y'all about being an influencer and also dating. But it's a joke. A lot of the guys in Atlanta are very, very conceited. A lot of the black guys. They are looking for a come up. Another thing I realized, talking to some people who just dropped gems on me when I first moved down here, is Atlanta is a place of using people. Everyone is trying to use the next person to come up. So everything is very surface level. If you don't have an OnlyFans page, or if you're not doing some type of content that's kind of like relating to their lifestyle that makes somebody else look good, then that person may not date you. It's a lot of BBLs too as well. I don't really talk about botched bodies or BBLs because that's a woman's choice. But here in Atlanta, I wouldn't say a lot of men are dating the women with BBLs, but I would say that there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that's just like faking this persona instead of being themselves. So as me being the social person that I am, I decided to go on Facebook and see maybe like I can find some networking connections within the beauty industry on Facebook because they have these groups. If you know, you know. So I went on Facebook to like the Black Girl Hustling groups to see if I could make networking connections. Who could I be a brand ambassador for? Who lashes I could do? Just trying to see what it's talking about. Baby, don't do what I did. That's how I got scammed. So, I mean, it's in everybody's nature. If you live here, if you're not from here, if you are from here, you're going to get scammed if you literally just don't know. You just don't know when you're going to get scammed, but it's bound to happen. So for me, I just got scammed out of like, a little $45. And, she probably bought her son some sneakers or whatever the case may be. I mean, Shorty had me going to a whole salon, basically making it seem like she was looking for influencers that wanted to get their hair done. She was just practicing. And back home, they used to do that a lot. Like, oh, I'm just practicing. Bring the hair. I'll do your hair for free. And, it wouldn't really be a scam because girls were literally just trying to build their audience. But here, baby, people find any reason not to go to work. People find any reason to make a different hustle. And scamming is one of them. So learn from me. The other thing, let's talk about making friends here. Now, one thing my ex did tell me is to not trust the girls in Atlanta. Okay, so I know how it sounds because I said before I'm not a girl's girl, but I am a girly girl. My friends tell me all the time I can see you having a daughter just because of the simple fact that I am so girly. So I love being around feminine energy. I love being around girls who like pink, girls who like going out, getting their hair done, all that stuff. It's just like a high to me, right? So making friends is never been hard for me, ever. I make friends wherever I go. I'm a very open, bubbly person. So for me, making friends here, you would think because I'm an influencer, it would have been easy for me to make friends. I have been to influencing events, and I have met guys that became pretty cool and put me on some networking connections. Sometimes guys here be weird too. The girls here are cool, but you would think if y'all had the same amount of followers and the amount of ambition that y'all would be equal. Because a lot of times when I used to vent to my people about like my female toxic friendships, they'd be like, well, Janelle, you need to meet somebody on your level. You need to meet somebody that you're equal to. So I'm like, okay, let me, rethink my life. And for a while, I did not have friends because I was just to myself. Like, I understand why pretty girls are to themselves because it can just get too spooky, too weird out here. So I decided to take a break. And then when I came down here, I was going to make friends. For me, friends come and go. Because a lot of times you are not equally yoked with people who are still focusing on standing on couches, getting drunk, men. And then with me, it's like, I don't care about men. I don't care about drinking. I barely smoke anymore. I care about my pockets. And everything is not about money. So don't think I can be bought by any man or anybody that comes into my life. It's just about elevating myself. Like, all I think about is being a better version of me. And I genuinely just want to be around people and women. Not even just people. I want to be around girls who look like me and think like me. But again, I have to remember, Nelly, you're only 23. Okay, you have to, like my uncle tells me all the time, you got to give people some time. But it's very exhausting and it's very sad. And I don't know if it's because I had older parents growing up, and so the wisdom was like trickled down to me, and I was raised traditionally to believe certain things or act a certain way. And it's just like when I get around other women or other girls, I'm just kind of like, I want to fit in, but a part of me does not allow me to do certain things just to fit in. Like, I just can't. So let's see I'm going to leave this question to the end. So let's talk about being an influencer, pros and cons. Because I hate when influencers get on Instagram specifically or TikTok specifically and act like their life is so perfect. They're getting all the new bags, all the new clothes, and they're tooting that ass up because they're so pretty and they're so skinny. Baby, I'm going to tell you, Instagram is not a place, an escape place. Like, Instagram is not as glamorized as it seems. It's overrated. I'll be the first to say it's very overrated. I love my followers on Instagram. They always show me support and love. Like, when I post something that I'm genuinely concerned about, a lot of people who have the resources send it to me. So genuinely, I love my Instagram page. I love my Instagram page because my followers are genuine people that I know want to see me win. I don't do things to get back at people. I don't do things to shit on people. I don't do things to put things in people's face. Like, that's not me. I want to use my Instagram to elevate myself. Pros and cons about being an influencer. Let's talk about dating. Dating regular men. I stopped giving men my social media because a lot of times, for two reasons. One reason being that guys go on my page, they see all my cute model pictures, and they're like, oh, I'm out of her league. Or, I'm not going to date you. I'm not going to date an Instagram girl because you get too much attention. And my brother has told me before, I would not date a girl who's on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, to each his own. But now I see what he's talking about, you know, when guys ask for my Instagram. And a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I don't have an Instagram. So anyways, the second reason why having a platform where you have nice pictures, guys feel as though they're going to get this perfect 10 all the time. So when they come into your life and you're going through real life issues, or you're just not like that bubbly, charismatic person that you display online, or your hair is not pressed out, or you don't have a weave in, it gets to a point where they're not realistic. They don't want you to have a pimple. They don't want you to gain any weight. They want you to be like this perfect image that they met online for the rest of your life. Or not for the rest of your life, but while dating you. And to me, it's kind of like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen you wear the same pairs of socks for the last week, and I haven't said anything to you. It's just crazy to me how, like, men put this high expectation on women. They want you to be skinny. They want you to have a small nose. They want you to have long hair. They want you to have clear skin. They want you to have a flat stomach and a big butt with some big titties, and they want you to be very hypersexual in bed. They also want you to be feminine, cover up when you leave the house. All these expectations on women. But when we ask them, how much money do you have in the bank? Or what do you have to show? What businesses? Do you know how to change a car? Do you know how to mount a TV? Anything related to manlyhood, them dudes don't know how to do none of that. But the expectation is so high for us. It's very disheartening and it's very sad. So don't think because you are a normal girl and you don't have a lot of followers that you're losing in life, baby. I'm going to tell you right now, you might be doing it right. Because this has been time where I want to start back over. I did create a new Instagram because I'm like, when I get to a place where I want to be at in the next 2 years, I'm not going to give a fuck about this damn platform. And I hope I start making enough money where I forget I have the Instagram page. I forget to post. That's where I'm trying to be at. I'm not trying to put on a persona for nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to put on a persona for nobody from my past, no man, nothing. So it's just like, being an influencer is cool. You get clothes. If you know how to brand yourself, you have to be mindful of what you say on these social media sites, my girl. If you do aspire to be a hair influencer, be consistent. You do get free wigs, but a lot of the times they have to reimburse you first. So don't sit here and think, oh, so-and-so is getting sent all these wigs. Baby girl, she paid for them first and they had to reimburse her, or they just giving her $30 off, or they paying for half, and she's no. Unless baby girl has a hair company and she has a wholesale store, then that's different. But everything that glitters is not gold. And these people driving these fast cars, all these expensive stuff, they probably don't have bills. They probably, you never know how people are really getting to what they want. You don't know how people have what they have. So I really just wish people would stop comparing their lives to others' lives. I mean, there's been instances where people compare themselves to me, and I'm like, baby, you think I got it figured out? Let me make you laugh. Like, let me make you realize that I'm just as human as you are. So being an influencer, it can create a lot of illusion, which can also be fun sometimes, because it's like, oh, I know this person's in my business. Let me flip the narrative. But a lot of the times you can create envious spirits, you can create monitoring spirits, you can create people that you never met in your life, y'all. I have been cool with people on social media. Two types of people that you want to avoid on social media. The people that become your friend on social media, but when they see you, they don't acknowledge your presence because either you look like your pictures or they're just weird. Or two, the people that you never met on social media, the girl that you never met on social media, and y'all was cool commenting on each other's pictures, and then eventually she start following your man. Or eventually she start wearing the wigs that you wear. And a lot of times people's like, girl, you're an influencer, that's what you're supposed to do. No. Y'all need to realize when somebody is trying to copy your personality or having a personality disorder, or a lot of that is real. When you don't know who you are and then you log on and then you pretend to be something completely different and try to push this persona on people to make it seem like you this bad bitch and you're not solid within yourself, seeing other bad bitches is going to make you sick. And that's all I was trying to say while I was in school. Like, people really didn't understand the whole concept of what I had going on because I was a little bit confrontational, but I knew when people came around me with envious spirits. I'm having good intentions to begin with, and I knew that. You might not see it because you might know this person differently, but this person might see my life and think, oh, she got it going on. Let me get close to her. Let me see how she getting all of this. Baby girl, I work. I don't have a trick. I don't have a rich daddy. He well off, but he ain't rich. I don't have rich parents. I work. So being an influencer, y'all just got to be mindful. Just if you going into the game, take these tips and run with it. Would I stay in Atlanta? Would I stay in this raggedy ass city? This city don't remind me any different of my hometown. Ain't nothing Hollywood about Atlanta. Okay? Besides the cars they rent, besides the designer they wear, nothing is Hollywood about Atlanta. Okay? Let's stop with this facade. I like Atlanta because of the simple fact that if you have a business, if you have a business mind, you can thrive here. If you're black and you are ambitious, you will win. For me, that's what I love about Atlanta. This video is not to bash people from Atlanta. This video is not to bash Atlanta at all, because this is a place where you can make it. Opportunities I've never seen before have opened for me. I am very blessed to be here. Very, very blessed. I am happy for the people who paved the way for me to be in Atlanta. So if you're going to be here, my utmost advice to you is to have thick skin. Be able to be on your own. Be able to be your own best friend. Be able to confide in yourself. Don't look for people to help you. Some people might see you and give you a helping hand, because that's how it is. That's what I noticed in Atlanta. When some people see you trying, when you tell people what you want to do, you get a business card like that. Like, oh, I see something in you. You're going to win. Let me help you. That's what I genuinely do like about Atlanta. Not all people here are good people. But that's anywhere. That's in any city. Bet on yourself. And I'm just working on myself. I'm elevating. I'm trying to break generational curses. That's the main purpose of moving down here. And so far, it has been a ball. I have met some good girls, some nice people to network with. And people reach out to me all the time and invite me to places. And I really do appreciate everybody who has done that, because they know that I'm only a year in here. And so I do appreciate all the love and support that I get from my supporters, my friends, my family back home. So I just appreciate everybody for tuning into this video. If you love this video, not like, if you love this video, like, comment, and subscribe below. I appreciate everyone who tuned in. Talk to y'all later. Bye.